Hey guys, it's Mathel here once again, and I wanted to give you a bit of a quick video going over the recent character that I posted for you all, and that is the Scourge Arrow Lightning based sort of Scion. Can be sort of anything, but it's a Scion. It's Scourge Arrow, and it is fully lightning based, using the Tempest, using an Impulsor. Doesn't have to be the Tempest though, as you would have seen in the previous video. I did have another bow, and long story short, they are very similar in output, damage, and effectiveness. The Tempest just feels slightly better to play with because it's got a very fast attack speed base, and that is pretty damn nice for your wind-up playstyle. Now, the purpose of the video is just to show you and tell you that Scourge Arrow as this lightning-based character, or any flat stacking, I'd say a very good dexterity or flat stacking character could be just as good, is actually very good for farming Uber Elder, quite possibly one of my strongest Uber Elder farmers. Just a quick little Chayula clip here as well, but the actual Uber Elder farms here were quite deathless, and I did a lot of them. So I did about 10 runs the other day, something like that. I did a bunch of farming for other people as well, you know, doing the services, I guess you call them. People jump in at the last second, and yeah, a lot of these runs were very deathless, very clean, and the playstyle for it is just really smooth. Now that is thanks to the fact that you're pretty ranged, the damage is very good, and Mirage Archer is just really capable of actually doing some serious steamrolling ever since the last patch that made it so that the pods that he spawns actually does what they're supposed to do. Previously, it apparently didn't spawn all the pods, and after that patch, well, Mirage Archer really does do quite a lot of work. You can notice that during these clips and fights where Mirage Archer himself will sometimes just kill the Madness Propagators, the tentacle dudes that spawn, when I might not even notice them. He almost one-shots them, maybe sometimes does, and leaves this trail of spore pods in the ground, which does quite a lot of damage to the Propagators, as well as to Uber Elder or Shaper whenever need be. You can even see in this clip that I took to making it slightly more challenging for myself, and that was to not spawn or not pop any single one of these balls. So instead of just dodging everything as per usual, I did another form of dodge and made sure that I couldn't get hit by a single ball, which is a pretty fun little challenge. And then beyond that, I wanted to go over these tier 16 Elder Guardians and just a few of their mechanics in case you still haven't fully clued into how they actually function and the best way to go about doing them. You can also see an example of the fact that you can stack up your 5 Scourge Arrow shots before the transition, and then keep them for the next transition up to 10. Don't know if it's too significant, but it definitely does work. So anyway, for that tier 16 Guardian, the Fire Dude, there's really not much to do as far as dodging and mechanic gameplay. You just try and stay somewhat far away from him. When he goes up into the air, make sure you're nowhere near him, because he comes down, does a slam, and actually does a lot of damage in his melee vicinity. Otherwise, try and stay somewhat back from him, because he shoots some pretty powerful little fire quills that do a lot of ignite damage. For this guy, you just want to make sure you are absolutely on the move and running around when he's winding up his own form of Scourge Arrow. So just move around, sidestep him. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. Just dodge stuff. For this guy, whenever he goes into the air, he shoots out 2 sort of projectiles that slam the ground. So you just want to run around as soon as he goes into the air, start running as far as you can. And he'll also wind up a slam one time. 1 or 2 times in his melee range, and you just want to run away as soon as that happens. So a lot of it is just straight up movement based. And then for the Constrictor, or not the Constrictor, the Eradicator here, the actual technique to survive this guy, because it's not super obvious, is sometimes he does go into this tendril phase, and when he does that, it might get a bit overwhelming, but he does it in a cone in front of him. You want to run around behind him so that he's always shooting in front, and he's never going to be able to target you since he turns rather slowly. So it might seem a bit overwhelming, but if you stand just behind him, then you shouldn't really ever get hit. For this phase, just try and stay away from all of the little sparkly balls that fly around. And then for the actual phase that he goes up into the air and does the lightning strikes, once again, just run around in circles trying to, as you can see here, avoid the 2-3 little lightning strikes, and then at the end of all of that, he will do one big lightning strike that hits for triple, and you definitely don't want to get hit by that. And then lastly, I wanted to recommend, in case you didn't like the idea of that as an Uber Elder farmer, the other few characters that I think I have had my best success of Uber Elder farming with. Now currently I think that is this one here, Magma Orb Inquisitor. Doesn't have to be Inquisitor, but basically I'm saying Magma Orb plus Gloomfang hits like an absolute truck. That's on a 5-link and it was a deathless kill. My Beefton Chieftain Blade Vortex was the strongest version of Blade Vortex I've played to date, and this guy was my Uber Elder farmer for the previous league, where I did countless runs, many of them deathless, many of them for service, many even with actual 2-player health all the way through the entire fight. Blade Vortex is just very strong for this sort of fight and playstyle, and it is highly recommended. And then the first one that really went nicely for my farm was Spectral Throw Deadeye. Spectral Throw, not the greatest, but once you get it all ramped up as a Deadeye, you are so fast, it's really easy to dodge stuff, and I did quite a lot of deathless runs here too. If you want probably, I'd say, the absolute easiest Uber Elder farmer in existence, my recommendation to you would be Pathfinder, Molten Strike, and going with a Lore Weave, stacking your Wise Oak, getting a lot of Fizz to early conversion, full-blown Molten Striking, and I think that should be just about unkillable, as well as doing insane amounts of damage. In any case, guys, it was just a quick little video showing you that I think Scourge Arrow has been really successful as a elemental damage skill and a endgame clearer, as well as a delve character. So if you want to get into it, I do recommend it. It doesn't have to be lightning. The cold versions I think should be really good too, but something to think about if you want to give some Uber Elder a shot. Most of these characters will be somewhat skill based, but once you get through it, once you have enough damage, it is a fight that you can definitely learn, practice, and get better at. And as a nice little reminder, I never started out good at this. It took me a lot of goes, and then eventually you clue into what you're supposed to do, when to dodge, you start panicking less, and all of a sudden the fights become easier. Thanks for watching the video, guys, and see you next time.